Welcome to Forest Chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we're talking with Jaime Bowler about being an ambassador for Busselton Jetty Swim. Jaime started open water swimming at around 15, has done 9 solo Rottnest Channel swims and multiple team relay swims in that Rottnest Channel swim, and has done the Busselton Jetty Swim 9 times. Having some success at the Busselton Jetty Swim, Jaime was asked to become an ambassador for the event in 2024. Welcome to Forest Chat, Jaime.
Thank you, Paul, for having me. I look forward to being on Forest Chat.
Thanks very much, Jaime. It's great to have you here. Jaime, what is the Busselton Jetty Swim?
The Busselton Jetty Swim it's down in Busselton. It's a swim that you swim along the jetty, which is very iconic in Perth. It's about 1.6 kilometres long. So you swim down around the jetty and you swim back into shore. So the total distance is about 3.6 kilometres. It's usually first or second weekend in February every year. And it's quite difficult to get into due to its popularity. It's one of the largest open water swims in the world.
One of the largest in the world.
Yeah, so you usually have to go through like a ballot system when it comes out in October, November every year, and then just cross your fingers. You hope that you get in. Like I've got quite a few friends who didn't get in and give me a call and say, have you got any strings that you could do to get me into the swim? And I'm like, I don't have anything, just as much as me. Yeah.
Wow. So that's really impressive that they've got such a strong
Yeah.
following. Is there something that they do in particular that helps with that?
I think it's one of those because it's such an iconic, the jetty's quite iconic for Perth, but also just like it's such a community event where if you go down there, everyone's supporting and cheering for each other, and there's lots of people and the family involvement, and it's such a positive vibe, which is quite different to some of the other open water events because it's just done such a larger scale. So once you do one Busselton Jetty swim, it's quite highly addictive. So then you want to come back again the year after, and then you bring your new friend who does it for the first time, then they want to do it every year after that. Then they bring new friends. So I think it just continually grows and grows. Whoever does it always wants to do it. Yeah.
So it's grown over a number of years. How long has it been going for?
Oh, I remember that was something that the anniversary. I remember that someone said last year when I was there that there was a guy down there who was there for the first ever Busselton Jetty swim. I think of how long it was, but it was quite a long time. And it's definitely grown in popularity. Like you don't need to, you could have just you rocked off on the day, I think, and just swam around the jetty. It's nothing like what it is now. It's got a whole, the organisers, the volunteers, there's hundreds of them putting this magnificent race together.
Busselton really know how to do that, don't they, as a town?
Yes, I think pretty much if you live in Busselton, you'd probably have something to do with being involved in that jetty swim. And it goes for it's not just the jetty swim day on the day, which is the Sunday beforehand. There's a run and there's bands and there's dancing and there's lots of other activities. There's lots of distances for the swim. So there's something for everyone there, no matter what age or ability you are or what sport you're even interested in.
My wife has actually been interested in doing it as well, but hasn't pushed the button yet. So that'll be another one you have to compete with.
Yeah, she needs to start October, November, which is quite good because you enter it in October, November, and then it gives you time. So 'cause if you've done no training up until then, it gives you, 3, 4 months to then get your training program organised so you could do it. And once you're entered, you've committed yourself.
And what's your favourite part of the, I'll call it the carnival atmosphere of being down at the Busselton Jetty Swim?
My favourite part my favourite part is probably the end, but that's that's because I think you're so nervous at the beginning, no matter what, no matter how fit you are or how much you've trained, you're nervous regardless. So you're nervous because you're challenging yourself and, putting yourself out of your comfort limit. And then once you've done it, you've done your swim and then you've come through, then you've gone through the challenge and then you're just so ecstatic you did it and you're so worried, you're nervous, but you've done it. Everyone's there cheering everyone along. You're just part of this whole vibe with the community. It's like a little party at the end. Everybody's celebrating everybody. We're celebrating the volunteers who are celebrating the swimmers. So it's quite contagious, this positive atmosphere down there. So definitely the end as you cross through.
And it also symbolises your success in actually completing it.
Yes, because says no matter what, you still have that little doubt. Will I make it? Will I be happy with how I went? All these little negative thoughts that do creep through your mind, beginning and maybe during the race. Not even race, the swim. I prefer to call it the swim. Some people get a little bit nervous when I call it a race. Yeah.
And it is swim in the title, isn't it? They time it like a race, but they treat it like a swim.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of like one of those races where it's a race for all. You know, you've got your elite swimmers down there, and then you've got your people who've just learned to swim. Then you've got your people who are swimming with their kids. So everyone's got their different challenges and goals going on during the race.
So, Jamie, what does it take you to be an ambassador for an event like the Busselton Jetty Swim?
What it took for me to be the ambassador was more that I wanted to be that positive role model. I wanted to be where people could come and tell me their stories of their swimming. I wanted to encourage and support everyone in the race. I wanted to be part of that uplifting, uplift others, support others. Their whole community is the Busselton community is what they represent. I wanted to be part of that and just be a positive role model for all the swimmers and families down there. And I feel like if you're that way, it's quite contagious. Then it passes on to the next person and the next person. And we just make it fun. We make it as fun and competitive as how you want it to be.
That's one of the magic keys to their event, then, is having ambassadors that people can look up to.
Yes, that's what I would want an ambassador. I would want someone that you would think of as a positive role model, approachable, someone that you could go to, support. Yeah, that's what I would look for if I was looking for someone to be a ambassador for an event like that.
When you were the ambassador, what did you do to demonstrate to other people that you were that person?
I did a couple of interviews before and on the day of the Busselton Jetty Swim. I also met quite a few of the swimmers, and people came and told me their stories. So I met a guy who had just started swimming and learned to swim at 58 years old, and he was 64, and he had challenged himself to swim the Busselton Jetty Swim. So he put himself down. He lived down in Margaret River, got himself I coached, said, "This is my goal, teach me how to swim." And I thought that was pretty impressive to go from never swimming your whole entire life to all of a sudden going to put yourself through the Busselton Jetty Swim at 3.6 kilometres where you head out to sea and then you turn around. And for those who have never done the Busselton Jetty Swim, I always recommend that people swim in the ocean before the event to get used to that, just swimming out to sea, get used to the chop and all the weather. So that was really inspiring. And then I also met a 15-year-old girl who was terrified of sharks and never wanted to swim in the ocean, even growing up, because we live in Australia, they all hang out with their friends down at the beach, but she wouldn't even go onto the beach because she was so worried about sharks. So her family had put her through training and with a swim coach and trying to get her into the ocean and coached her through it. And I think there was about 3 times I think she wanted to leave the water, but she got through it with all her fears going on. So it's pretty impressive, the stories that you hear from the people in there, like, oh my goodness, you guys should all be ambassadors. Yeah, the stories you guys have got. Yeah, it's amazing and inspiring.
It is amazing, and having any story really that's a positive story around an event sets you up to be an ambassador, which we'll talk about how you might do that a bit later on. But with every event, there are people getting out there doing something that's a stretch for them.
Yes. Yes, definitely. There's a lot of people you don't know what's happened behind the scenes in their lives that have brought them to this race. It may look like to some people that it's all about the elite people on the start lines and getting them through, but you just ask anyone in the race, give them their story. It's quite interesting and fascinating and very impressive.
Yes, that's a little bit how this podcast works as well. Like everybody has a story, and
Yeah.
at an event, everybody has a story for how they got to that particular point.
Yes.
What is it about your swimming history that sets you up as an ambassador?
Well, I think probably my previous results that probably led me to being an ambassador. So I've done the Rottnest Channel Swim solo 9 times, and I've won it 4 times and come second 4 times, and I think third once. I've also done the Busselton Jetty Swim 9 times. That seems to be my lucky number, 9, because I think I've done most races at 9. But I'm feeling like 9's a good number. I don't need to go to 10. I've also done the Busselton Jetty Swim I think I won it 9 times. I've also broken the record for the event twice, where I got one of those massive checks that I think have been hidden around my house somewhere. So I think that's what brought me to be an ambassador. But saying that, I'm not as fast, as fit, as strong as I was in those days. So I'm also hoping that I was also chosen because I'm hoping that I am motivating, inspiring for those swimmers out there, or those participants or family members, and as a positive role model, and hope that people can share their stories or look up to me, and I live a quite a healthy, positive lifestyle that people could follow or find a challenge. And I'm quite goal orientated and then work back from there. Throughout my life, I'm always writing goals, whether it's in the pool or out of the pool. It's just the way my brain works. Always having goals and trying for something, having goals in life.
Goals are actually magic for your whole life, aren't they?
Yes, if you want to succeed or do anything or accomplish things, I do find having goals sets you up in all areas of your life, just having them. And it's like just having those tick boxes where you accomplish something, it makes you feel really good, no matter how small it is. Just like tidying the house, tick, feel pretty good. Yeah.
Yes, it's a positive reinforcement cycle. There's
Yes, exactly. And it leads to bigger and better things.
So you're definitely out there doing tiny little goals and much bigger goals in your life as well.
Yes, we just had the new year, probably where most people start looking at their goals again. That's where I started looking again. What are my goals for 2025? What do I want to accomplish by the end of this year? Give myself 12 months. Yeah.
And you also, I imagine, have the goals for 2024 you're able to look back on and see how you went.
Yes. Yes. So for myself, I keep a blog and a diary, just a personal one, where I write down what I've accomplished and break it down year by year, what happened this year, things I would do again, things that I wouldn't do again, and things that I would change or that I won't continue doing on in 2025.
That's quite amazing. In my other work, I do oral history recording. Sounds like you've already built a record of your personal history that you could share with future generations as well.
Yeah, I think I just naturally started quite when I was young, because I've still got from when I was a teenager or before a teenager, the hard copy diary. I've still got my diaries from when I used to do that every year. I wrote them all down. And now that when technology improves, then I went to a blog, I can add all the photos and things. Before I used to snip things out, tickets, and did little drawings in there.
You're well ahead of a lot of the population in having something along those lines you can pass down to your family. That's amazing. We've had a look at what it takes to be an ambassador for the Busselton Jetty Swim. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at what it means. We've had a look at what it takes to be an ambassador for an event like the Busselton Jetty Swim. Now we'll have a look at what it means. Jaime, what does it mean to you, your family, or the community that you're able to be an ambassador for the Busselton Jetty Swim?
Well, it's a huge privilege to be asked to represent the Busselton Jetty Swim, because I must have, hopefully, for the people out there, I am that positive role model. I am someone that people could look up to. I'm hopefully inspiring for people out there, and not inspiring for elite athletes, but just for everyone, the everyday swimmer, the people who have just learnt to swim, the people who, the kids who've got, or people who've got fears of swimming in the open water. Hopefully, I am, there's something that anyone in the race could hopefully be inspired or motivated by me. So I feel that that was a huge privilege and an honour to be asked by Busselton Jetty Swim.
It's so nice to get that sort of recognition too, isn't it, of others that they see that you can be a positive force in what they're trying to achieve as well.
Yes. Yes. And anyone who's ever done or been a part of the Busselton Jetty Swim knows how successful and how positive and healthy and inspiring the whole race and everyone is. So if I could be anything as what that race is, that is a huge privilege and honour.
Or what meaning did it hold for your family?
My family's excited because they get to go spend the weekend in Busselton. It's a fun weekend for them as well, because there is something down there for everyone. So my youngest entered I think there was a 1,000-metre race under the bridge the day before, and she entered that. And then after that, she wanted to go longer and further. So she had a really great time down there. Also, my friends also get involved. So they take their kids and families down to Busselton as well, because it's such a great event.
So you get to share a healthy activity that's fun and share that with friends as well.
Yes, and new friends. You also meet a lot of people down there. And I like that. A lot of people come up and tell me their stories and tell me how they got there and how they went in the race, and they're coming back again the next year. I look forward to hearing all their stories.
On the community side, the ambassador role is about helping people feel good about being there, isn't it?
I think that engaging with the swimmers and the families, the participants down there, hopefully providing something positive to them and inspiring and motivating. And not everyone has the swim they want to have. There are going to be ups and downs and people who are disappointed about how they went. But it's also, we don't always have the race and swim we want to do. So it's like, what are you going to do with it? Do you want to just leave it there, or do you want to use it again? Doesn't mean this defines you. We can just choose more goals, and you learn from it. Say if you got pushed under at the start and you couldn't get your bearing and then you fell off where someone slower beat you, that's okay. That's okay. That's why I think some people get quite upset about that. And that's all part of the learning when we do these swimmings and our challenges. You can't just expect to have highs and good things all the time, because otherwise it's not challenging. Yeah, it's not challenging if everything went perfect every time we did it. We need something hard and difficult, so it makes you want to come back, makes you want to get fitter and stronger, makes you want to practice in the ocean more for next time, because you learned the way you did it that way didn't work this year, so I'm going to try something different next year. Yeah. Also being able to tell people that, because people did come up to me and tell me, they weren't so happy, or, their goggles got kicked off at the start and they just couldn't do it and they wanted to get out. So I feel like it makes you tougher, just challenging yourself, tougher and stronger, no matter what the result is.
That's right. If you don't have those challenges, then you don't learn anything, do you?
Yeah, it makes life more exciting, more fun, and, more driven by challenging yourself. If we do the same thing every day, it gets so boring. Yeah, there's nothing exciting out there. And really challenging you, that's what makes it exciting. It gets you out of your comfort zone. Well, that's my type of fun. Look for my challenges, look for my goals. How am I going to get there?
And it feels fantastic when you do.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And when you get the high that you get after the race, and no matter how you've gone, it's worth it. It's always worth it. You never regret it.
There's lots of positive meaning in being an ambassador for the Busselton Jetty Swim. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at how you do it. We've had a look at what it means. Now we'll have a look at how you become an ambassador for an event like the Busselton Jetty Swim. Jaime, how do you become an ambassador for an event like the Busselton Jetty Swim?
Well, I believe that you looking at the past ambassadors, it's not about being an elite athlete, being the fastest swimmer out there that's going to get you the position to be the ambassador. There's been ambassadors in the past who've had challenges and overcome challenges and overcome, there are people who do positive role models. They are approachable, they are charismatic, they are good, positive people to be around. It's quite infectious being around those people. So I believe that if you're one of those, you're a positive person, you live a healthy lifestyle, you're approachable, you're compassionate, you're empathetic, you're a good listener for those who come up and chat with you, speak with you, you have time for those. You want to help. You want, this swim is such a wonderful swim. You want it to keep succeeding. You want the best for this race and swim, because what it means, there's so many people out there who make this their goal for the year, and just being around, surrounding yourself by positive, healthy people. If there's 5 positive, healthy people around there, guess who's going to be the 6th? It's exciting. Yeah. So that's what, who doesn't want that? Life is good and life is fun. So it's actually not, it's really tough and challenging, but that's why we look for those positive things where we can get it. There's only positive and healthy lifestyles that comes out of those events, and they run it very well.
That's very much how you think about yourself, really drives whether or not you can actually be an ambassador.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, when they asked me, I was like, oh dear, do I have what it takes? Because it's such a prestigious role. But I'm very fortunate that I got asked by Busselton Jetty Swim.
Yes, and being asked and then having that doubt in your mind shows that it really is a challenge for you as well. It's a different challenge to the swim challenge, and it's probably a different challenge to the preparation challenge, but it's another element of challenge for that event for you.
Yeah, I guess with you take on the ambassador role, leads with great responsibility. So you want to do the best that you can, which what the people would expect from you. So hopefully live up to their expectations.
If you set a goal and then you need to work towards it, don't you, to be able to uphold that trust that the
Yeah.
organisation has put in you. What sort of commitment did you have to make for the ambassador role? Like, did you have to have an availability commitment or?
Well, I just had to just availability to come down for the entire weekend while it was going on and go to all the events because it's not just the swim itself. There's quite a few events that lead up to it over that weekend. So that's quite fun because I probably haven't been involved in all the other events that go on during the weekend. So it was good to see that side of it.
And did you do much promotion of the event?
Probably mostly on social media and on the day, just doing interviews and being at the event and giving out prizes and medals. So it's actually super fun for me to get asked to do that. So I was quite lucky. Yeah, I was like, they want me to do that. Yeah, yeah.
Giving out,
So that
giving
was,
out
that was
prizes is great, isn't it?
yeah.
It really is about that attitude and thinking that you covered first. And
Yeah.
then every event's going to be a bit different. So someone's going to be an ambassador for some other event, then they're going to be things like the social media and interviews and interaction opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that if they just write their goals down, whether it's they want to do the 3.6 Busselton Jetty Swim or the 1,000 kilometre, or I think there's even a 500-metre swim as well, they just work backwards from that. Write your goal down, work backwards. What's it going to take for you to get there? How often can you get to the pool? Training is really the key, consistency, and there'll be times where it gets boring and you don't want to go. But I do think writing yourself a goal for a certain amount of sessions you want to do per week, get yourself in the ocean, familiarize yourself with that, and also get yourself in the ocean when it's not just flat, when it's choppy and wavy. Get used to being head around, thrown around. And maybe if there's some other ocean races where you're used to, a whole lot of people diving in together, that can be quite scary and daunting for people. So just get used to that. And it's okay. If your goggles leak and falls off, it's okay. Just stop, take a breath, fix them up, and then start again. It's okay. Yeah, don't give up because I think regardless, just complete it, complete the race no matter what happens.
Yeah, just delve in, do what it takes.
Yes, even if it's not going to your race plan, just, there will things that be pop up on the day, but we just worry about that on the day or as it comes. There's no point about worrying what is right before. If you're only thinking of negative thoughts, think of the positive things. Think of how you're going to feel at the end when you finish this.
Is there something next for you?
Yes. So my next goal or next race is I'm doing the Rottnest Channel Swim in a team of 4. Last year, the event got cancelled due to bad weather halfway through the race. So we're going back again with the team that I was in from last year. And then I'm also entered, I think, a week or two after that. There's a 20-kilometre run down in Dunsborough and 5-kilometre swim. That's all broken up. It's the Run Swim Transcape event that I'm looking forward to doing in March.
March, not too far away. Was it a 20K run?
It's 20 Ks, but it's broken up. So I think the first run leg is like 4K run and then 800-meter swim. Then it will go 3K run and 900-meter swim. And you swim in your shoes and you run and swim with all your gear on the entire time. So it's quite different and it's quite beautiful going around, the southwest.
It is a fantastic idea, and I'll let my listeners work at getting their head around swimming with shoes on.
Yeah, I know. They're special shoes. I did it one year wearing normal shoes. Don't wear normal shoes. Special, special trail shoes that drains all the water out.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, so there is a
I know.
secret.
Yes, get the proper shoes. But yeah, you do swim with your shoes and you do run with your goggles and your cap and you do the event in your bathers. Doesn't look pretty. Doesn't feel pretty either. But like I said, the finish bit is what gets us there. The finish feeling.
Absolutely. That's a bit of an adventure challenge type thing as well. That's really,
Yes.
really
Yeah.
good.
Try not to get injured is also on there. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on Forest.chat, Jamie. And Forest.chat listeners wish you all the best in your future endeavour.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on Forest Chat.
You've been listening to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we talked with Jaime about being an ambassador for the Busselton Jetty Swim. Remember, there are 4 ways to get involved with Forest.chat. Share the domain forest.chat with your friends and family and people you meet. Listen to the episodes at forest.chat/episodes. If you do something interesting that other people may be interested in, book an interview at forest.chat/interview. If you want to support a local business, book an advert at forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to being with you with our next guest. Until then, enjoy making it happen.